presentation. Film.
So, hi guys. I didn't really come prepared with the speech today, so there's not really much I can say. So, yeah. Vote for me, please. Okay, so that's how I don't want to be for you guys. I don't want to be unprepared, and as a result of that, let you guys down. And sorry, I was supposed to come to this, but I don't want to come prepared. But I did come with a speech, okay? So yeah. So I'll try to perform this position as best as I can. For all of you that don't know, my name is Erik Manzano. I'm a second-year civil engineering major, and I'm running for the position of treasurer for the 2015-2016 school year. But first, you guys need to know my qualifications, right? So I'll be honest with you guys, I don't really have a lot of experience pertaining to the treasurer position. Back in high school, I would try to run for treasurer, but I would not get accepted because the person that did become treasurer, it was basically favoritism in high school. So if you were popular and you wanted to run for a position, you basically got it, and I wasn't one of those individuals. However, I did have a lot of experience with regards to money, both distribution and communicating with others. Both within my group of friends and in various clubs, I would be in control of money as well as not fundraising. And even though this is the treasurer's job, I would take that job, or I would take that task temporarily because they were either couldn't make it or something like that. So they would usually resort to me if they weren't there, or if the treasurer weren't there. And also, I like to believe that I'm good with money. I believe I'm good with money. I'm able to manage my budget and my finances, not only with myself, but with my family. And through all the things that I have, I'm hoping to apply this to the treasurer position. So overall, I understand that I don't have a A+ list of qualifications, and due to that, that might affect your guys' decision in voting for me. But honestly, I want you guys to vote for the person who you believe will make a positive and memorable experience in this club. For me, I've only been here for 2 quarters, or not less than 2 quarters, but I've already had a blast, and I want to continue having a blast, not only the rest of this year, but next year and the years to come. So, and what I said about earlier, this doesn't just apply to the treasurer position, this applies to all the board positions. So it's up to you guys to vote, or to choose who you believe will be the correct individual. Thank you.
Yes, when I do fundraisers, I do a lot of repetitive things because it works and it makes money. Would you implement new ideas every other week, or would you keep the same thing going over again?
Due to lack of experience, I don't really know a lot of the things that go into fundraising and such. But based on what you've done, I feel like that you've done a very good job. And if I do become treasurer, then I'll for sure be talking to you and gaining information and experience from you. Hopefully that I can apply for the next year.
I have a question. So at least in regards to fundraisers, I know people always want let's do new fundraisers and stuff like that. But at least I feel in regards to our Beijing Rap Hot, which is our signature theme, it raises us a lot of money. And thinking of whole new ideas, it's while it's cool and all, it's not going to raise us the amount of money we want from it. So the problem within, fundraising is not exactly what we're selling, but I feel like the management that goes on during fundraisers. How do you feel, how would you step up when maybe, people are just sitting around, or, people aren't doing the job correctly? How would you approach those situations?
At the fundraiser or building up?
At fundraisers.
Well, I'm pretty sure you guys know I'm not very talkative, and when you guys hear me pub, it sounds kind of awkward for me. But I gotta prove, or I have to be the model of everyone. And if you guys aren't committing a lot to it, then I'll show you guys how it's done, even though I don't have a lot of experience. And hopefully through that motivation from me, that'll get you guys to go. And if the last resort, I'll just kind of have to force you.
So for the treasurer position, part of the thing you're going to be like managing is the money for the cabin that we use for winter retreat. Let's say it's like a big amount of money and you don't have that in the funds. How would you approach like paying for that?
Well, depending on how big of how much money we will need, I'm willing to take a good hit of how much money that will be. I feel like that, well, depending on the money or how much you need to pay for it, I can take a good chunk of it. And whatever's left over, I can ask my board or fellow members if they can pitch in. And if they do, then I'll for sure try to get the money back to them. For me, I'd rather put in money to have a good time and make everyone else happy. So if it comes, or I might not need the money, but we'll see.
Alright, ready?
No.
Go.
Hi, I'm Adrian Cabornida.
So sorry.
I'm a freshman biomedical engineer, and this is my third quarter here at Fusion, and I'm running for treasurer. As you can see, I really enjoy Fusion, walking with you guys, talking with you guys. It's really fun, and I really enjoy the experience overall, and that's why I decided to run for treasurer. Some of my experience. So for Engineering 7D, which Christian previously mentioned, I was the team leader, and as team leader, you have to coordinate with people. You have to understand how people work, understand when to fish for comments from people that seem to be quiet, and when to flatter people that always come up with good ideas and you kind of want them to stop. And then, also in addition to that, we have budget management. That's my job. That's what I'm running for, treasurer. So in this case, for the project, they give us a set of parts and you have to come up with a budget for the parts list. So the limited budget and also the requirements of the quadcopter have to be balanced out, and that's part of why I want to be treasurer, because I enjoy that part. So here are examples of what I had to do. So this is a Gantt chart. This shows the organization as far as separating out the different tasks and setting out guidelines for when they should be completed and highlighting them when they are completed. And this is our parts list. This is the part that I'm mostly interested in. This, as you can see, is a list of all the stuff we had to buy. And it was a pain to put together, but it was still fun. That doesn't really make sense, but here is our total. We came below budget, and our project was successful because we got to fly and we got an A. But you didn't really have to fly to get an A, but that's not the point. So this is why I want to be treasurer, because I enjoy doing parts lists and like coming up with ways to work around the system to make an efficient product. So another experience I have is interning. Interning with under Fusion is probably one of the best experiences because I get to see how board works. Board was great because, for one thing, everyone seemed to be doing stuff. Like, everyone got their stuff done, and that was interesting because I've never ever seen that happen before in high school. So, like, when you go to a meeting and everyone has everything done, and all you have to do is check it off kind of like a list. I love seeing that, and I want to be a part of it, and I think I'd be proud to be a part of it. And just, it's like working in, it's like having a nice park, you know? Once you see it clean, you want to keep it clean. Like, you don't want to go to a ghetto park because, like, it's gross. So this is a clean park, and I would love to keep it clean. So as treasurer, I'd just like to mention that I really like what you've done with the treasurer department, Eduardo. It's really great because, like, we're making a lot of money, basically, and that's good. And I would like to build on that. So, building on that, we have a lot of fundraisers, and they're very successful. Bacon-wrapped hot dogs are great, but we need external fundraisers. Oh. What does that mean?
You're done.
Is it done? Oh man, Megan came in. Okay. Okay, I want to support like more towards the general member because I feel like the interns get a lot of attention, and I feel like lowering prices would also encourage new members. And there you go.
Any questions for Adrian?
Alright. Yeah, shoot. I'm excited.
Eduardo.
Alright. As treasurer, you're also part of the exec board. That means you not only deal with the money, you deal with the rest of your cabinet. If you and the rest of your exec board had to make a decision about suspending an appointed position board, how would you approach that?
So first we'd have to find out which position is considered being suspended and then how those tasks would be distributed. So I think it's hard to get things where to the point you don't mix business with friendships, and that's really difficult. But just putting aside personal pride in that case, because if the position is not working for the club, then you don't deserve the position, or it's not that you don't deserve it, the position just isn't needed. And it's just good for the whole club if that's seceded, or like if it disappears. Does that answer the question? I don't know. Okay, next question. Dan.
Okay, I guess I'll build off of what Eduardo said. Say it wasn't in a certain case it wasn't that a position wasn't needed, but that a person filling out the position was causing conflict within the board. How would you meet with the executive board? How would you feel you play an input in whatever decision they make, and how would you approach that individual?
So if it's an individual and not the position that's causing it, then the individual probably doesn't. If it's not a because you have to remember. I'm sorry, you don't need to. But like, board is a team, and if the team isn't working, then what's the point of board? You know. So like, if one person is causing so much trouble, is it their responsibility to secede? I don't know, is that the right word? Is it the responsibility for the better of it? Probably. So another way you could, what happens in, I think, real life is the person doesn't get kicked off. He just comes down, you know? Like the person isn't formally kicked off, he just steps down because he knows that, or he or she knows that he's not exactly wanted, and he or she knows that it's not good for the team. Otherwise, you guys could just like grind gears all day, and it'll be weird and awkward. And we don't want that. Any other questions? I didn't forget your name.
I'm Mr. Funny Man. How do you, when fundraisers start going and the people aren't coming, or you?
I don't pub sometimes. I understand exactly what you mean.
Okay.
Personally, the reason sometimes I don't pub is because I don't remember, and I don't really look at my messages sometimes when there's like 30 and I just like, oh, that's it. But I agree with you. It's something important that should be done. How do you get someone to do it? Persistence. Persistence and making sure that you keep reminding them, because maybe they don't. I know it seems like you're probably bothering them, but hey, trust me, you're not. You're not bothering anyone by asking to do something that they should do. It's their responsibility. So you shouldn't be afraid to ask someone to do something that they're responsible for. And in fact, more than likely, the person that is supposed to do what they're supposed to do probably feels guilty. And like that guilt is like builds up, and then you just kind of go into shell of guilt. And then you don't want to do anything, because if you do it, then you admit that you did something wrong.
How do you fix it?
Oh, how do you fix it? Keep reminding them every day for every hour. But no, not every hour. maybe personally I like the personal touch. So if you could like come to my hole on the day I'm supposed to pub, but that's not yeah, it's like it's a personal discipline thing. It's not so much the person that's supposed. I mean, it's not so much the person that's asking you to pub. It's not that their fault. It's a personal issue with the person that is supposed to pub. It's not about. Any other questions? Does that answer the question? Alright.
Does anyone have any questions for this guy? Sandra.
Transportation is important for the treasurer. Not only if you plan to pursue external fundraisers, getting the boba is important. So, do you guys have the transportation needed?
My parents are buying a car. And
I have a truck.
I just want to make sure that.
How many coolers of boba do you want? 10?
oh yeah. And he has a truck then. Like Sam.
Hey, Sam. Okay, so a fun little scenario that happened this past year is once when there was an event, only one person showed up to set up. How do you approach a situation like that?
As treasurer?
Yes. That is your responsibility.
Oh.
One person.
So
Yeah,
like
it's Matthew.
probably.
Well, that one person will probably be me, and if it's only me, just like coming there just to set up, right? Then I'll set up, but I won't necessarily be happy about it. So when the people do come later on, then I'll probably have a word with them and make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Please be specific.
Like if they come, depending on how late they are, then yeah, I'm gonna have a talk with them because there's a specific time they need to be here in order for us to set up, in order for us to start selling, in order to get our quota. And for future references, if that is to be a problem again, then I basically just have to enforce the time needed to go there as well as set up.
My turn. Alright. So the issue is that only one person showed up to something. So I agree with him. It'll probably be me. And if that happens, then I have a scooter. Like I can transport things quickly and easily. And then, but seriously, I can't imagine setting up a booth on my own. That would be difficult. Possible, but difficult. And in that case, I'd just ask someone around if they could help for a second, or like go to a staff member, someone around, or I would wait in the ESO room until some people came. Otherwise, if I already set it up and people come, I would just be sad, and then they'd see the sadness and feel the guilt, and I'd be like, yeah. and then after that, working towards the next setup session, probably send out a few more reminders, because I understand that some people are busy, and whatever reason they had is probably okay, even if they forget or something. Like, people are people. It could just be a combination of the worst things that happen to everyone at the same time. Things happen, but at the same time, probably send out a few more reminders. I wouldn't probably go so far as to go as individual talks with the people. Probably just send out more reminders. Great.
Alright, so building on to that question, what if that problem continues to persist where you'll be the only one or one other person that's going to be at the fundraiser? Like you're not going to have a lot of people show up at all the time. How would you do to fix this? Will you let it continue happening and deal with it, or are you going to do something about it?
Well, in that case, I'd probably build a closer relationship with the people that I want to go, or that we're supposed to go. Like, maybe before that event happens, I go personally to their houses, and or like their place of homeness, or where they live. and then I would, like, you know, because if some people need that personal touch, it would be a lot to ask for me, just to go to everyone else's house and then like ask them to personally come. But I think if it negates having to set it up all by myself, I think it's worth it to go to everyone's house.
Adrian brings up a good point. So if you do go to their house and that shows commitment from your side, then they have to reciprocate that same commitment. I would take that road, but if that doesn't work, then obviously there's going to be a problem there, and I can't do everything on my own. So I'll probably have to find individuals that I can rely on, that are not the same usual group that would go to these fundraisers. And I'd start by picking the individuals that I've come to know well in this club, and ask if they can substitute and take this role that they were supposed to do.
So, in recent history, there's been a significant improvement in terms of on-campus fundraisers. For example, they've happened more frequently, or they've sold more product. I was wondering if you had any specific ideas to continue that trend.
Specific ideas as in new fundraise or new things to fundraise. Why no bacon wrapped hot dogs is pretty much a win-win for there, and then boba is either hit or miss. Then we have yet to see how the through-run is going to go. But stuff I have been thinking of is, I don't know if you guys have had it, but panisal with spam and with spam and egg. Some pretty good stuff. So we might be able to do something about it, but we got to kind of test the water with that. So that, we can either do that. I'm also thinking corned beef with panisal, that's pretty good too. But it just depends on the regulations and such.
So in terms of fundraising, I'm planning on going off campus actually, because they have a thing with Chipotle where we get 50% of the sales during a period of time if we ask for the fundraising thing and it works out. I'm not exactly sure. I checked their website; it just said 50%. And I was like, and then yeah, I think Chipotle would be a great way to fundraise money without having to either put in as much effort as it would to take out a booth. In addition, like, it's right there. It's right across in UTC. So it's a convenient place for people to go. It's a relatively simple fundraising event to set up. And I think that would probably be a better way to increase, in addition to our bacon wrapped hot dogs, the revenue for our club.
Following up with what
Oh,
you just
sorry.
oh, sorry. No. Oh, okay. Following up with what you just said, outside, we have not had that many outside fundraisers, but those outside fundraisers need people. How would you get those people to go?
Get those people to go? What I was planning was just have people outside Chipotle handing out flyers. No? Doesn't work?
They won't allow that. They won't allow that. Yeah.
They won't?
That's cheating.
How about across the bridge? Okay, in that
As long as
case,
you can see.
in that case, getting people to go, making it an after event. Maybe, perhaps making it after event. But then again, it's at UTC. I probably wouldn't go to Chipotle because everyone's like, it's Chipotle. But if we tell the club that it's for a fundraiser, then I think people would go.
To get more people to go, I would say that for many things, such as Buffalo Wild Wings, they do that special fundraising thing. But you need to have one of those tickets or such, or you gotta show proof that you have this ticket in order to get that discount and for us to do the fundraiser. So I'm kind of thinking of posting it, not the ticket itself, but posting like a post saying about the fundraiser on, say, the class of 2017 page or 2018 page. And for those who are interested in attending the fundraiser, then they would message this particular person in order for them to get that code, or not code, that ticket.
In my first year of Fusion, I went to Winter Retreat and I had an incredible time. So when I ran for treasurer, I made my main goal to make a successful Winter Retreat where everybody can have a great time like I did. What kind of goals do you guys wish to accomplish with this position?
Goals as in for the
As
Winter
treasurer,
Retreat?
just anything.
Oh, okay. Well, I like the platform that we're at now. We're making good money. My goal as treasurer is to give back to more general members, to encourage people to come here by lowering the prices. That would be nice, because like the general admissions fee is probably the main reason some of you guys aren't members yet. So, or like at least maybe one. But yeah, my goal is to spread Fusion. So in that case, actually lowering the prices and using funds to lower prices.
For my main goal is I want you guys to have a really fun time in this club, as do I. So I would push for that, and through that, I would try to fundraise as much as I can, build up all the funds, so we can, in the end, use that money on something we can all have a fun time with, such as Winter Retreat. That's all.
Cherry.
So for retreat, someone has normally had to cover the money just because it's such a large expense, and we've never reached a point where Fusion can cover it instantly on its own. How would you lessen that problem?
Pretty much, yeah. I think that how much is it? Well, I guess the problem with coming in is that our greatest source of money, which is probably going to be alumni, we don't get to know them perfectly well. So maybe stay in contact with them, or like build up a relationship with them. I know it's not necessarily my job as treasurer, but I think it would be an addition to the job that would make the experience at Fusion even better.
So in order to get rid of that, the remaining money we need to pay off for energy, correct? Well, like I said earlier, if worst comes to worst, I'll take the hit for you guys. But if it's too much for me to bear, then of course I'll ask board as well as general members if they can contribute some funds to it. And if when we pay it off later on in the year, then I'll see that you guys get that money back. And as for me, like I said earlier, I really don't see, or I really don't mind if we don't do nothing, just as long as we have a very fun time with or using that.
I know we're out of time, but I have like one more like really big question that like no one asked yet. So like the thing I kind of have hammered to my board this year is that you should spend more money to have better quality meetings. Because when you first start off, you're probably gonna be like, oh, we should save up as much money as you can. But if you're not providing quality meetings, people aren't going to become members, and you're not going to get that revenue from people becoming paid members. So how do you kind of balance that? You know, saving money, but also providing like quality meetings and events.
Well, I guess it starts with depending on how much money we have to start with. So depending on how much money we have to start with, then we can kind of like fraction it out. Have this amount of money to use for the general meetings of great quality and such, and use that other money for other things that we need for the club. And like again with the Winter Retreat, if we do need those more funds, then I can probably take it out of my pocket.
I think this is a question that is part treasurer and also part for the club in general. Like having a quality meeting isn't just about how much money you put into it, it's about the people. So the reason I come to meetings is because I really like you guys, and it doesn't really matter what we're doing that day, because I just want to come here to talk to you. So in that sense, I feel like just being less cliquey, I guess. But I think in recent meetings, people have really made an effort to put themselves out there and try and make friends with people that don't necessarily go to the meetings all that often, or are first time attenders to the meetings. So that's the more club in general side. In terms of the treasurer, I think that the meetings don't really need more money. I think yeah, it's mostly just the social aspect, because I think it's really, really fun making an umbrella out of paper. That's hilarious. And I would just go to see that itself, and you don't need to put as much money as you think. So yeah, you don't really need my input as far as treasure, because you don't need money to make a meeting fun.